The Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Tell the truth. 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 Tell the truth.
BS3 Network, changing the way you listen to podcasts. You are now tuned to BS3 Network. BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV. You are now tuned to BS3 Network. BS3 Network is now on Roku TV under BS3 TV. Download today.
Welcome to the Information Man. I said it, the Information Man Show. Only in America, as I said a week ago. Only in America, ladies and gentlemen. I see you all coming into the chat room, and I appreciate that. Thank you all for being here. I will convene a panel. Get right to the point.
Information is power. Information is power.
What's up? What's up, everybody? Thank you for your patience. Let's get at it right now because I want to have a panel. I've started a little bit later than I planned to, folks, but I'm glad to have everybody here that's coming to the chat room. We've got a great audience coming in. We got Queen I Know I Am. We got Deborah Guns here. Dee Dee Taylor has just gave me a $9.99 super chat, which I appreciate that.
Thank you for the super chat.
I want to say thank you for that super chat. Give me 1 minute. 1 minute right now. I'm going to hit my music button. I'll be back in just a minute. I've got someone. Here we go. Be right back. All right, everybody. Thank you for the interruption. I'm here for good now. Let's get into it. I want to thank once again Dee Dee Taylor for giving me that super chat. I definitely appreciate that.
Thank you for the super chat.
I pretty much appreciate everybody that's here today for this broadcast. I'm going to have a panel, as I was saying before. Most importantly, I want to say right now, I want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there that are listening, those that are in the chat room, those that are listening on all different devices at home, wherever you are, and people that will watch this on the replay. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And mothers are very important to the building of our communities. So thank you again. I got to give you a clap. As I said before in the last video that I did on this issue, let me know if you can hear me too nice and clearly by putting 7s in the chat room. We're going to get these algorithms cranking as people are coming through to the program today. And I'm seeing people. Just Alicia is just coming to the house. I see Lions Den, a.k.a. Trey X, is in the house. What's up, my brother? Good to see you over here. Dee Dee gave me that beautiful super chat, which I appreciate. We got Bobo Anderson in the house. Folks can hear me, so everything's coming through nice. I want to get through the opening presentation as quickly but concisely as I can so that I can open up the panel to have people come up. And I want to hear your opinions, your thoughts about the situation. As you know, this despicable individual, when this whole thing went down and he choked Brother Neely, everything was supposed to be about if you got a guy coming on a train. And I know that the New York subway is not the most cleanest place. There's a lot of things happening on subways. You got to protect yourself if you see someone who you feel could harm you potentially. But the thing is that Jordan Neely didn't harm anybody. This is what was reported. Let me remind you all what was reported originally. He came on the train. He said, "I don't have food." And I said to all of you last week that the reason why the people in New York have to deal with these circumstances where someone is homeless and maybe not in their right mind is because of piss poor policy, not only in New York City as it relates to mental health and the homeless, but there's a piss poor policy in this place we call America, where people do not put the money that is necessary to address mental health problems in our country. And therefore, when there's no urgency to mental health problems and homelessness, then you as an everyday citizen are put at a risk potentially for someone that could potentially harm you. In this case, Jordan Neely didn't harm anyone, but I would say that he was also a victim of a system that failed him. Now, whether he had drug problems, whether he had mental health problems, whether he had run-ins before with people, that really has nothing to do with what happened to him ultimately. The reason why I'm saying he's a victim, because he's a victim of a social system in this country and in New York that has failed homeless people. I told you a week ago, ladies and gentlemen, if you remember, that 56% of the homeless problem in New York is primarily populated by Black people. What is it? It's about 32% Latinos, 7% white people makes up the homeless population of New York. Black people are the most impacted by homelessness in New York, and mental health goes across all racial lines, where we're all affected by mental health problems. Any of us can have an emotional breakdown. Now, when you look at Jordan Neely here, he's doing the Michael Jackson stuff. He's getting down. Now, when he was doing Michael Jackson impersonations, this was back in the 2013, 2012. A lot can change over the years. And of course, it was reported that he lost a family member when he was very young, and that could still have a lot of effect on you going forward. So when you have a lot of personal problems and you are living in a city called New York, in a state which seems to want to do more for immigrants and migrants who come over illegally, who got no business in our country, sucking up the resources from the citizens that have been living here all their damn life, who have paid taxes all their damn life, and you're going to put the immigrants or the migrants front stage over Black people like Jordan Neely, who probably could have benefited if the mental health systems were not so piss poor. Right here, he said this: I don't have food. If you're homeless, of course you don't have food. I don't have drink. If you're a homeless person, you may have a problem with drinking. I'm fed up and I don't mind going to jail. I told you all a week ago that the reason why a lot of homeless people, or people like Jordan Neely at that time, will say things like this is because going to jail for some people that are homeless is better than being on the streets, because you get a cell, a bunk to sleep in. I'm not saying it's the best conditions in jail or prison, but you do get 3 hot meals. You get 3 hots in a cot. You can take a shower. You've got a roof over your head. You don't have to worry about dealing with the elements, and you don't have to worry about when you get your next meal. I'm not saying that food in prison is gourmet. I'm not saying being in prison is the best thing for anybody. I'm saying from a human perspective, what is some of the things that humans need? You need food, water, shelter. You need protection. So it doesn't surprise me that Jordan Neely was having his emotional breakdown and saying that he didn't mind going to prison for life if necessary. I'm ready to die. So this is the area that nobody in the media is focusing on. Why would a man in New York City be saying that he wants to go to prison, that he wants to die, that he's hungry? The media, the mass, goofy media, and some of you goofies on YouTube who've been talking nonsense about this, failed to examine the fact is, why is it in America, 2023, the most richest country in the nation is what they tell us? Why is a man, yes, it could be, his circumstances could be not only mental health, but drug use, all these things. But the point I'm trying to make is, why is it in the richest country in the world called America, where we're sending billions and billions of dollars to a place called, the damn war that's happening over there in the Russian area, the Ukraine? We're sending those people, and Joe Biden just signed another bill to send them more money. Look at what $8 billion could do for homelessness in this country and treatment. Maybe, just maybe, Jordan Neely wouldn't find himself in a situation where he's on a train, he's fed up. He says, I'm I'd rather go to jail. I'd rather die. However, he never put his hands on anybody. Now, this guy right here who did it's funny how the only person, and peace to you, MZ Kim, Bling Bar, and more. I find it interesting, ladies and gentlemen, how the only person that they can find is Vasquez, the Hispanic man, Latino man, who was on the train. He seems to be the only one that the news can quote. Where are all the other people to witness what happened? Because nobody has come forward and said that he put his hands on anybody. But Vasquez said that Neely, after saying he wanted to die and he didn't care if he went to jail, he removed his jacket. Okay, he removed the jacket. You can't get hurt with someone removing their jacket. And he aggressively whipped it to the floor. Okay, he takes out a jacket. He whips it to the floor. Does that put anybody at harm's way? Now, this report that when he made those statements, people start leaving that particular subway cart to go to another one. Well, that's smart because you don't know what the person may do, but we know one thing, he didn't do anything in terms of put his hands on anybody. And I'm telling you right now, he might have been having an emotional fit, but if he took his jacket off and threw it to the ground, it doesn't harm you, it doesn't harm me. It might take you off guard, but the only thing that he harmed was the ground that his jacket fell on. That's it. So he threw his jacket aggressively and whipped it to the floor of the train as Neely started shouting. Much of the subway car cleared out, meaning people left. Okay, but nobody got hurt from this man. So why was he choked out and killed by this man, Daniel Penny, who the media, as I said a week ago, the media was running interference for this dude. All of them collaborated to not tell you what was really going on. They arrested him on this day. They let him go. Then it was because of people like ourselves on social media making noise about it and bringing it to prominence and saying, what the hell is going on here, that they finally decided to, arrest this guy and take him into custody. Remember, I told you a week ago that his lawyer, Kenneth, has a rivalry with Braggs, the Attorney General of New York or Manhattan, because he ran against him in 2021. He lost. Remember, this guy is connected to the Republican Party. He's a Trumper. He's also connected to Santos out there in Florida. There's a political, another thing, just like they tell you that Daniel Penny is a Marine. They keep repeating that he's a Marine so that you get in your mind that he's a heroic figure. His lawyer, Kenneth, he has connections to the military as well. I told you that just a week ago. But in the end, why is it that these other men here were not charged? Because they assisted in the matter. Look at right here on this picture. That's Daniel Penny to the right in his Marine days. There they are putting hands on Neely on the ground. They charged, Daniel Penny's being charged, ladies and gentlemen, with a misdemeanor, second-degree manslaughter. And I'm going to break down to you what that means. Manslaughter. But what about the other individuals that were also involved? Aren't there charges that should be playing a role? Because from what we understand, it was not only Penny that put hands on him, but it was 3 other men. 2 or 3 other men that you see on the picture right here. That's the lawyer, Kenneth, who's taken over his case. Another thing you need to understand here is that they gave this man a $100,000 bond. That shows you again what they think about black life. That black life ain't worth nothing. Let's bond his ass out. Give him every opportunity to bond out. Even though they left him on the ground, as you see right there, deleted. No, Briggs, the attorney general, who you all know is going after Donald Trump for his indiscretions in the city of New York, had these things to say, and I'm going to read it to you. After an evaluation of the available facts and evidence, the Manhattan DA office determined that there was probable cause to arrest Daniel Penny. Yeah. Daniel Penny to arraign him on felony charges. Jordan Neely should still be alive today, and my thoughts continue to be with his family, loved ones, as they mourn his loss during this extreme, painful time. I want to know, Braggs, why didn't you give this man, the word is called murder, which is a legal term, ladies and gentlemen. Now, maybe he went with the manslaughter because murder would be, which is a legal term, would be very hard to prove in court, because in order to say that someone murdered someone, you would have to prove that they had intent that day. You would have to say that Daniel Penny went out there with intent to kill somebody that day, that night, that evening, that day on the train. You would have to prove that that's what he intended to do. But damn it, ladies and gentlemen, I don't care. I don't care about what his intentions might have been. We just know
that he killed him. We know that Daniel Penny killed this man named Jordan Neely. Now that's a fact. Whether he went out there with the intent to kill somebody that day doesn't matter, because you know why? He killed somebody named Jordan Neely. That's a fact, ladies and gentlemen. It can't be argued with.
Tell the truth.
that's a fact, ladies and gentlemen. That's a fact. So here we have a black man who lays here, not unconscious, but deleted. Deleted. Here he is in his more younger years. And like I can say, a lot can take a toll on a man that can make a man. And this is the key. As a society, nobody is asking the question in the media. I don't know how many people are asking the question on social media, is that why do we live in a society as rich as America? What's going on? Black Man Unfiltered for the network. Make sure y'all get over there and subscribe to his channel and check him out. Peace to you, my brother. Let me give you a clap.
Thank you for the super chat.
And thank you for that super chat.
Thank you for the super chat.
And I'll be playing some super chat music in a little bit. This is important to stay on key here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to say it again. Why is it that we live in a society as rich as America where a man can be at a point of his breaking point of saying, I'm hungry, I have no food. I don't care if I go to jail, because he knows in jail he can get shelter. That is a sad commentary for American society, and that is a sad commentary for New York City, Manhattan, whatever the hell you want to call it. Because of these social ills that we're not dealing with as a society, while we're giving all the money to the Ukrainians, and while we're allowing migrants to come in here at the thousands, and while they're so concerned about the migrants across the border in Mexico because of the Title 42 being expired, ladies and gentlemen, I want y'all to look into your heart and remember, because I did a video on this. Remember what they did to the Haitians when the Haitians were over there. They took them all up. They grabbed them all up, put them on a plane within 2 days, and sent them right back to Haiti. All of them. There was no amnesty for them. There was no opportunity for them. But for the other folks over there, the Mexicans, the South Americans that coming over there, you get to let them stay on the damn border and get in. If you're black, stay back. If you're brown, stick around. Now, New York is being impacted by this migrant situation. And I've done videos about this, where services are being taken away from people like Jordan Neely. He had problems. Yes, he had some criminal run-ins in the past, but that's not reason why he was deleted by this man, Daniel Penny. There's no excuse to delete him if he posed no harm. The goal is this, and I said it before. If someone shows danger and you put hands on them, the goal is to restrain them and to get the police. I'm going to read you the law so you know what I'm talking about is the truth. The goal is to restrain them, not to kill them. If you've got 4 or 3 guys there, Daniel Penny and 3 other guys, they could have restrained him until they could get him to a police. They could have had someone get in contact with the conductor of the train, of the subway, to get the police down there so that they could put him in the hands of the police and say, this man is having emotional breakdown. The goal is not to do what? To delete him. But in fact, they did delete him, and they're wrong for this. Also, I want to remind you of this because I had someone leave me a message saying that, oh, manslaughter was the correct thing because they tried to de-escalate him as they were choking him. No, it escalated. If anytime someone's being put in a chokehold and they end up dead, they end up deleted, that's not a sign of de-escalation. That's a sign of escalation, out of control. And this is what it is. In New York, the state law, police officers are no longer allowed to use a chokehold because they deleted Eric Garner. Remember that? Now, let me read that to you, and then we're going to say, what does it mean for citizens? This is very important for people to realize and to understand. Let me go into here and let you know what I'm talking about. And I'm going to have a panel, ladies and gentlemen. What are the laws in New York for putting a person in a chokehold? In New York, the use of a chokehold by police officers is illegal. The New York state law prohibits police officers from using a chokehold or any other type of neck restraints. So if the police officers can't do this to a guy like they did Eric Garner, then damn well Daniel Penny had no business doing this as well. Now, the course of arrest or while attempting to detain a suspect, the use of a chokehold has been banned since 1993. It is classified as a Class A misdemeanor offense. In addition, the Eric Garner Anti-Chokehold Act was passed in 2020, which makes it a felony offense for police officers to use a chokehold or any other form of neck restraint that results in serious physical injury of death. Now, of course, Daniel Penny is not a police officer, but I'm setting the premise here that it's illegal for a police officer to do this. So why would it be legal for Daniel Penny to get away with this? Now, check this out. What is the name of the law in New York for chokeholds? The law that prohibits the use of chokehold by police officers in New York is Section 121111 of the New York City Administrative Code. Additionally, the Eric Garner Anti-Choke Act, which makes it a felony. Okay, now let's go into some more details. What is the law in New York? On the Information Man Show, you get the information, you get the data, you get the damn truth.
Tell the truth.
In New York, the use of a chokehold by citizens now, not people that are police, by citizens against other citizens is generally considered to be assault and is illegal. Now, some of you are going to say, oh, he was right. He was well within his right to do the things that he did because he was trying to restrain a situation. But there's a thing called excessive force. Now, it's considered assault and illegal. I'm going to say this again. A chokehold by a citizen versus a cop is still seen as illegal and is seen as assault. Assault is defined as intentionally causing physical injury to another person and can be charged as a misdemeanor or a felony depending on the severity of the injury. Because of the severity of it, I guess that's why Braggs and his office came up with the manslaughter, because they believe that they can't go with murder because of the higher burden that you need for it to be murder. But I don't care. He, in my opinion, he deleted them. He did it in a harsh manner, and he should, in my opinion, get the highest penalty, which is what I just said before, which is a legal term. But intentional causing physical injury to another person and can be charged with a misdemeanor, felony, severity of injury, and other factors. Now, these are the other factors. It is important to note, this is important, ladies and gentlemen, it's very important to note that self-defense is a legal defense to charge of assault, okay? In some cases, a person may be justified in using physical force. This is what they're going to use to allow Daniel Penny to get off. They're going to say because Jordan Neely said that he was hungry, he was tired and ready to go to jail, and he was willing to do. Now, this is what they're going to use because he made the statement that he didn't care that if he was deleted, because he made the statement that he didn't want to live and he was ready to go to prison. They're going to make the argument in court that that meant that he was willing to hurt somebody on the train in order to go to jail or prison so that he can have the comfort of 3 hot meals and a cot. They're going to push that in court. I guarantee it. This is where they're going to try to justify Daniel Penny to let him get off. In the media, I'm going to say this again, the media was complicit in all of this. They lied to us. They wouldn't give us this man's name. They wouldn't tell us his background, where he lived. They wouldn't tell us anything about him, but we knew everything about everything within a matter of minutes and time. We knew everything negative or positive about Jordan Neely. That's the truth.
Tell the truth.
Everything negative or positive, but all we knew about Daniel Penny is that he's a Marine, be all you can be. And the reason why they keep repeating that he's a Marine and repeating so that you get a picture in your mind, because they're thinking about this going to a jury trial, and they're repeating that message that he's a United States Marine so that you will see him as a hero, you will see him as heroic, you will see him as, hey, he can't be that bad because he served our country, so let's give this guy a break. That's why the lawyer keeps repeating it. The news kept repeating it. This white supremacy news that we got, these white supremacy news network, CNN, MSNBC, all of them are white supremacist news outlets. They're pushing the narrative so that this white boy can possibly get off. And then you look at the law and how the law works in their favor and works against us. It's important to note here, I'm going to say it again, that self-defense is a legal defense term, okay, to charge of assault. In some cases, a person may be justified. This is what they're going to use to get them off. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. I don't want it to happen, but it's my belief as I'm looking at the law that he's going to get off on circumstantial evidence under the law, which says a person may be justified in using physical force, including a chokehold. This is the law, folks. I looked it up. In self-defense, if their reasonable belief or believe that such force is necessary to protect themselves from harm. So he can use the legal defense that he felt endangered by Jordan Neely, and therefore he was protecting his own life against the potential that Jordan Neely could have taken his life or harmed anybody, but in this case, himself. Even though there's no shred of evidence that Jordan Neely put his hands on anybody on that train prior to Daniel Penny intervening, calling himself being a Samaritan, and it turned out disastrous because he choked the man. I want y'all to remember that he choked the man. Let's let you look at that picture. He deleted the man. Look. And then you had other people there who stood there watching the situation. And where are the charges for the other men who were involved in these shenanigans? I want y'all to really think about what I'm saying. Where are the charges? Ladies and gentlemen, if you hearing what I'm saying, you understanding what I'm saying, put a 7 in the chat room. I appreciate you all for being here and rocking with the Information Man Show. Good things arising for this channel, for all my platforms are good things arising. We're going to keep this ship moving forward. If you are rocking with me, you hear what I'm saying, put a 7 in the chat room. This is the kind of content that we need on these YouTube streets in terms of analytically breaking things down. And of course, YouTube is not going to push this through the algorithms because we're telling the truth over here.
Tell the truth.
And they don't want truth. They want you to listen to the news media, the mainstream media that wants to tell you the story halfway, half-baked, and not full. They want to give you a narrative to make the white guy, Daniel Penny, the hero, and make Jordan Neely, who already has been confirmed as having mental health problems, being homeless, having some issues in his life, but he's the villain when he's really the victim of a social system in New York, a social system in America that has failed people, has failed black people in New York who make up that 56% of homeless. And therefore, if the services were better, the opportunities were better, instead of giving it to these damn migrants, maybe Jordan Neely wouldn't find himself hungry and all these different things on that train. Yes, you can say that you got to have personal responsibility, that people have to be responsible for their behavior, that people have to do better. Yes, but this still doesn't change the fact that we still have people in our society who have problems, and it's not just going to go away because we think that they're going to just go away. But this dude, I'm telling you, Daniel Penny, in my prediction, you heard it from the Information Man Show right now, as I am so sad to have to give you this report, that I believe what I've just said to you, that Daniel Penny is going to get off due to circumstantial evidence, meaning this whole thing about self-defense because he felt threatened by Jordan Neely. As I said before, it is important to note that self-defense is a legal defense to a charge of assault. So if he is being charged with assault, in this case, manslaughter, then his legal defense would be self-defense because he felt that Jordan Neely was a threat to him and many people on the train. That would be his defense. In some cases, a person may be justified in using a physical force, including a chokehold, in self-defense if they reasonably believe that such force is necessary to protect themselves from harm. Uh-oh. Now check this out. This is now for those of you who jump on that and say, yeah, see, info man, this is why he had every right to do what he did. Hold your horses, because this is where it gets a little muddy. However, when it comes to the laws in New York and the use of excessive force, ladies and gentlemen, including a chokehold in self-defense or in any other circumstances, could still result in criminal charges, it's always best to avoid using, this is where they need to get them on this, your DA office got to get on this. It's always best to avoid using physical force to seek help from the law enforcement, which is what I said, or other authorities in situations where violence may be imminent, meaning you can't use excessive force. There's one thing to have restrained him, and there's another to use excessive force to the point that you take the man's life. Second-degree manslaughter, ladies and gentlemen. Second-degree manslaughter is a criminal charge in New York that invokes cause of death or another person as a result of reckless conduct. This is what they're trying to charge him with. The charge can be filed in a case where a person's actions were not intentional, but were so reckless that they showed a indifference to human life. This is what the DA's office has come up with. Under New York law, second-degree manslaughter is a Class C felony carrying a maximum penalty up to 15 years in prison. Now, that doesn't mean, ladies and gentlemen, that Daniel Penny is going to get the maximum penalty of that 15 years. He might get 3 years, 4 years, 5. It depends on what kind of deal his lawyer, Kenneth, is going to be able to cut. But the maximum penalty is 15 years. I don't see him getting that 15 years because they're going to use this whole thing about him trying to feeling that that Jordan Neely was a threat. And this is what they're going to do in court. They're going to bring his history of arrest. They're going to bring his history of run-ins with the cops or anybody on the subway train. They're going to bring all the case files to show everyone in court that, look, this man had a history of being out of control in New York, to use that as a way to get this white boy off scot-free by showing evidence that, see, this man is dangerous. So therefore, Daniel Penny was in the right to do what he did because look at his dangerous history. Even though in this situation, he didn't put his hands on anybody, but he had hands put on him and they took his life. 1, the defendants caused the death of another person. This is the manslaughter charges here, how it fits. 2, the defendant acted reckless and the action showed to deprive the indifference to human life. 3, the defendant's actions were substantially factors in causing the victim's death. Example of conduct that could lead to charges. Second-degree manslaughter includes driving under the influence of drugs or alcohol, causing fatal accident, engaging in dangerous conduct that leads to the death or the deletion of another person. Now, the reason why they're going with manslaughter, even though I don't agree with it, is because they're saying that basically that Daniel Penny got on that train that day with no intention of actually of killing someone. But in this case, he went too far. He was reckless in his conduct and putting this restraint called a chokehold on a man in a state where chokeholds have been outlawed that police can't use, but only they will allow you to use it as a citizen if you feel that your life, he would have to prove in a court of law that his life was under imminent danger of being deleted by Jordan Neely. This is where it's going. This is going to go to court. I can't wait to watch how this plays itself out because I'm going to give you the prediction. This is Kyle Rittenhouse written all over it, ladies and gentlemen, all over it. He's getting off, in my opinion, because of how they're going to use the law. And the media is already setting it up by saying that, oh, he's a hero. He's a Marine. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Hit a 7 in the chat room if you if you understand what I'm saying. We got 12 Veils in the house. 12 Veils, I was just thinking about you, sister. I saw one of your videos the other day, and I was saying, I wonder how she's doing. So thank you for coming over. I see you. We got the real Aaron Collins. I'm about to convene a panel in just a moment. I got to show you something else. This is very important to me to show you this. So they say that that he's a Marine, right? And that he's heroic in some ways. They're trying to push that narrative. And I want y'all to remember that narrative. Now, what I want to do, ladies and gentlemen, is I get ready to, let me play this. I'm going to play a video for you. And if it starts acting weird, I got a backup situation, just so you know, to prepare for you as well. Let's play the first video right here, and I hope this thing works the way it's supposed to. Thank you all for being here.
Are you good? Yep, you good? Yeah, I'm good. Don't worry about me. You're good?
Daniel, do you have any comments?
Are you a hero?
Daniel, what do you have to say about the charges?
Good morning. My name is Thomas Kniff. I'm with the law firm of Razor Kniff. We represent Daniel Penny in this matter. Shortly after 8 a.m. this morning, Daniel Penny surrendered at the 5th.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Kenneth. That's the lawyer who's got a little bit of a rivalry with Braggs, who wanted to be the DA. He's booed in with that whole mega stuff. He's booed in with Santos in Florida, and he's also has a military connection just like Daniel Penny, right? The family hired him. Remember, Daniel Penny was arrested, arraigned, and given a $100,000 bond that was paid by his family. And remember, his father, if I'm correct here, the father used to be a New York State Police. So there's a connection here. Father has a connection to law enforcement, as I had told you before. Now, the reason why I stopped this, I want you to hear how many times the lawyer will continue to repeat to you how Daniel is a Marine and he's done great service to the country as a soldier. That's the narrative that they're painting in your mind, subconsciously and consciously. And you know why they're doing this? They're doing this for a potential jury that will be on the case, and they want to put that out there. He's a Marine, he's a Marine, he's a Marine. And then they're going to put out there that Jordan Neely is a homeless person, aggressive black man, out of control. He's a monster. They have to push that narrative over and over again to counter what Daniel Penny did to him by saying, well, he was a monster, he was a criminal, out of control black man on a train in a city that doesn't give a damn about its homelessness or its homeless population, which is made up of 56% of black people, okay? They got to push that narrative. Now, let's continue.
Precinct at the request of the New York County District Attorney's Office. He did so voluntarily and with the sort of dignity and integrity that is characteristic of his history of service to this grateful nation. The case will now go to court. We expect an arraignment will occur this afternoon, and the process will unfold from there.
Can you tell us what his mindset is this morning? How is he feeling?
He's dealing with the situation, like I said, with the sort of integrity and honor that is characteristic.
He keeps using the word honor because that's a little buzzword that the military uses when they put their soldiers on a platform, right? They use the word honor and principle and character. That's what he keeps repeating because that's what we've been culturally conditioned in American society to see soldiers as committed, heroic, patriotic. He's using all the damn buzzwords. This is white supremacy personified. This is how it operates. Remember what Neely Fuller Jr. once told us.
Thing having to do with black people, the white supremacists are involved. I mean, otherwise there would be no such thing as white supremacy.
What's going on, Mike B?
You know,
Yalpo.
Black people were just walking around, I mean, with nothing affecting
Another
them.
CG.
You know, in economics, in education, in entertainment, any of the 9 areas of activity, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war. If black people weren't affected by the system of white supremacy, there would be no point in talking about white supremacy. So the hypothesis is, the conclusion has to be based on logic and evidence. Everything that black people do, every move that they make anywhere on this planet called Earth is dominated by the system of white supremacy. That's what it's designed to do. Dominate all of the affairs of people classified as non-white.
Tell the truth.
Let's continue. Let's continue with the clip.
Of who he is, characteristic of his honorable service in the United States Marine Corps, and you know he has his head held up.
Just like I was telling you all, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here again. I appreciate you all for being here. Let's look at another video, one more clip that I have for you before we convene the panel. And I have one other point I want to make before we start that panel as well. So let's look at the other clip. I really appreciate all of you that are here. Make sure you share this video on all your social media and your community tab if you are a content creator. Thank you. If you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe and hit the bell notification. I appreciate you all. And here we go.
That's Daniel Penny, the 24-year-old former Marine. He was wearing handcuffs when he went in. I believe.
Once again, you got the sister reporting for the news, right? I think it's MSNBC originally had this feed. And what is she saying? That is the theme that the media keeps running around with. He's a Marine, but they don't tell you anything else about the guy. It's just that he's a Marine. I'm so sick of it already. Okay, he's a Marine. What do you want, a damn cookie? He's a Marine. You've told us that 1,000 damn times. Who is this Marine? Well, Daniel Penny is age 24 years old, born July 1998, as I said before on last week's video. He is a former, here we go again, United States Marine who currently works as a sales associate in Long Island, New York. Daniel Penny, is the one who killed an innocent Michael Jackson impersonator, Jordan Neely, and we all know that. Now, he has a father who's also booed up with law enforcement as well. Let me remind you here by letting you see this as well. Check this out before I play the rest of that video. Daniel Penny, Colonel, Chief Inspector at New York State Police, retired. According to some of the rumor mills on social media, that's why I'm saying, according to the rumor mill, this is his father who is connected to the policing system in New York. He was a chief inspector police officer in the New York State Police. So there's a military connection here that he has with his lawyer, Kenneth, who's pretty well connected. And there is a law enforcement connection that he has to his father, as well as his military connection. I'm just trying to lay out a few things here. Let's go back to this right now and let you hear the rest of this.
We have a video of him coming out when he did not have his hands were not cuffed. We understand that bail has been set at $100,000, that Penny himself put up $6,000, and his parents guaranteed the entire bond.
So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. He put up $6,000. His family put up $100,000 to bond his ass out of the jail there. So therefore, he'll be sitting home in the comfort of his home. Another thing that I noticed is that, ladies and gentlemen, remember, they originally arrested him. They released him. And it's funny how he had all this time to get his story together before they decided to arrest him. They didn't arrest him by knocking on his door and pulling him out of somewhere. They allowed him to lawyer up, which he had a right to do so, and then go to the courts of his own abilities, right? He's driving in there in a fancy black Suburban car and what have you, and he's wearing a nice suit, and he's sashaying himself into the damn courtroom with a suit on, just sashaying, and then he's sitting up looking like he's off a GQ magazine, right? Let's just take a look at this. And then another thing that y'all may not have not noticed, I know Jason Black talked a little bit about this on his broadcast, but I'm going to go a little bit deeper than he did on this issue right here that I'm going to bring up in just a minute. You see him? He wants to walk in there looking GQ, and all that sort of stuff, walking out with his black sneakers. Let you know about those black sneakers. Jason Black talked about this on his broadcast, but I'm going to go a little bit deeper because I know even more about this stuff than he does because of the kind of work that I do. I deal with white supremacists. It's one thing to talk about these people. It's one thing to get on these YouTube streams and talk about white supremacy. It's another to deal with them face to face as I do in my work capacity. I know how they think, how they operate. I understand their tattoos that they wear, their philosophy. I deal with them firsthand, not as an interview. I deal with them because they're under my jurisdiction. They got to deal with me. Whatever they damn need, they got to deal with Info Man. And I get a chance to see the ideology of their white supremacy ways. Now, Jason Black talked about this. He's got the sneakers on. There are certain sneakers, ladies and gentlemen, that white supremacists like to wear. It's a symbolism that you need to understand. Let's go deeper into what this symbolism is. First of all, this whole thing about him being a Marine is cute. Okay, it's great. He's a Marine, right? Check this out. They got all sorts of white supremacists in the Marines. Do you know a few years back, and it's still continuing now, Frontline did a story all the way back to 2014, but it's still continuing today, where the Marines are opening investigations into active duty white supremacists within the Marines and the military. Where have most of your white supremacist groups gone to? They've gone into the military, they've gone into policing, they've gone into politics, all areas of activity, as Neely Fuller Jr. said, to control everything. That's why Neely Fuller Jr. says that white supremacy is in politics, white supremacy is in education, sex, religion, military, the army, every goddamn thing. The Frontline Report, the military has already said this, that a lot of these white supremacists and white nationalist groups, they joined the military. When we had the January 6th situation where they went to the Capitol and they were scaling the Capitol walls, they said that a good majority of those white men that were out there that were breaking into the Capitol were military trained, that were part of the Proud Boys, the Boogaloo Boys, and any other white supremacist boys. That's the truth.
Tell the truth.
All right, let's keep that in mind. So when they get to talking about he's a Marine, what kind of Marine is he? Is Daniel Penny one of these white supremacists? I just want y'all to know that. Now, just so you know, there's these shoes called New Balance. I did a whole show about white supremacy symbolism. Y'all need to go look at my catalog. I'm telling you, the New Balance shoes have the N. That N is a symbolism for the white supremacists. They love to wear New Balance. They wear the red ones with the white ends and the red shoestrings. The red shoestrings is a symbolism for what? Kicking in somebody's behind, particularly kicking in on a black person, meaning you didn't took a life, or you potentially want to take a life. So they love the red shoestrings. They love New Balance shoes. They wear them. They like the N symbol because that's a symbol that's similar to Nazi symbols, or symbols of white supremacy, or a symbol meaning a what? A Nazi. N Nazi. They'll wear the Nebraska hats with the N on it, the Nebraska clothing, and they love the New Balance shoes. Ladies and gentlemen, if y'all think I'm lying, I'm telling you the truth. Here you have a picture here. They made these shoes would have the gray, the red, and the blue. They like to wear those shoes. White supremacists, you got the Ku Klux Klan, the flags and all that kind of stuff, the flags. They love New Balance. You can look this up. For some reason, they're gravitating towards New Balance. They also like these shoes right here. Now look, remember I told you about the red shoe straight? A lot of these white supremacists love to wear black boots with the red shoelaces, which represents blood and kicking in on your behind, and also representing that maybe you might have actually killed someone or did serious injury to someone. You might have deleted someone or did serious injury to the point that they bled out. So they love to wear the black boots with the red shoelaces, okay? They also like to wear these shoes right here. Take a good look at these shoes because I'm going to show you a comparison. They like to wear the black shoes with the white shoelaces, the Vans, the skater shoes. The white supremacists love these pair of shoes right here. Now, I'm going to make an inference. Look at this picture right here. What type of shoes do you think that Daniel Penny is wearing? Huh? What type of shoes that the white supremacists like to wear so much? There it is. Is it those shoes right there? That I just talked about? These are white supremacist symbolisms. Look at these. Look at this picture. Is this a better picture? Look, he's wearing the goddamn shoes.
Information is power.
He's wearing the shoe.
Information is power.
All I know is that this is a shoe that's highly sought after and worn by white supremacist groups. It sends a message. It tells a message. Now, you may say, oh, you don't know. Somebody will probably say, oh, he's not a white supremacist. He's just a guy that's military. I'm telling you, they love to wear this shoe, this particular shoe right here. Jason Black talked about it, but I know about it because I know the symbolism very deeply. I deal with these individuals. I get to see how their minds work. They love this symbolism. They love this symbolism of the New Balance shoes. And as I said before, the military is a cesspool of white supremacist groups to the point that Frontline did a report on this. You can find this article online, and there's many other articles where they're trying to figure out what they're going to do about their white supremacist problem. These guys love to be in the military. They love to get that military training on how to use weapons. This is why black people in America, we need to learn how to use our Second Amendment right to have arms ourselves and to train ourselves on how to use arms under the Second Amendment right to bear arms, because we have a right as much as they have a right to. But I want y'all to really understand what I just laid out here for you as we get ready to have this panel today. And he's wearing them. And I know not because it's something I made up. I know that they wear those kind of shoes because I see them wearing them. That's why I know what I'm talking about, because I've seen plenty of them with these sneaks on. Even when they've left the prison and they have paroled and they had the sneakers packed away, they're walking out with them on. I've gone through gang task force meetings to understand the gang structures and how the gangs use certain shoes and clothing and hats and various things to disguise whatever their gang symbol, to disguise their gang symbolism, but to also tell others that are part of their gang who they are. I learned this in work capacity. And this is the difference, folks. This is the difference. I don't hide behind an avatar. Y'all can see me. Let's get it going. Let's get this thing going right now. I'm going to hit some music and drop some links in the chat room. We're going to have a conversation for a short time just to get your opinions and thoughts about this whole case. I know you're ripping at the bits to have your say about this, but I just wanted to lay this out. I think, unfortunately, that Daniel Penny is going to get off. I think it's all laid out. The media has been caping for him, and they're bringing manslaughter against him. But there's a loophole within that manslaughter because I'm sure they're going to use Jordan Neely's history. They're going to push his military background, and the fact that he felt endangered by this is not going to go the way we think it's going to go. This is another Kyle Rittenhouse, all written all over it, in my opinion. It's not that I want that to happen, but I believe in looking at things realistically. And the injustice system has never really worked in our favor as a people in general. But let's get at it. Let's get this whole thing going. Peace.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV. BS3 Network, changing the way you listen to podcasts. BS3 Network, changing the way you listen to podcasts.
Make sure to subscribe to his channel.
All right, brother.
Tell the truth.
All right. We got Black David on with me. Peace to you, everybody. I always hang out over in Black Men Unfiltered's channel, and Black David comes up on panels, and we have great discussions over there. Have barbershop. I think every Friday he has barbershop night, and we as men, we chop it up. And Black David has always been a brother who's given me a lot of respect, and I respect him and what he stands for. And I appreciate you coming up and talking about this issue with me. And other people who wish to come up, you're more than welcome. But Black David, man, how you doing, first of all? Happy Mother's Day. Those
Happy
who
Mother's
have
Day
mothers
to
out
you.
there. Thank you.
Happy Mother's Day to you. But when I saw this case, I was like, oh, no. But here with the problem with the scene of the crime took place on MTA subway system. If anyone who live in New York City long enough to understand MTA have this long-going issue dealing with the homeless community, turning the subways into their homeless shelter, which have been a long-going problem. I worked with them for at least 2 years. And then the police department called the MTA PD for to be a branch of the NYPD. Their job is to reduce that. Now, when they're not doing their task and doing their work, because I'm one of those people who regularly use the subway system, we're paying for these services, right? If we had to pay for the service that you're supposed to use to go from one end to another end, and these homeless people are turning these subway cars to a homeless shelter at one point, it inconveniences us. So you have the right to complain about why are we paying for this service and not get the better service. But as time progresses, instead of fixing the issue, they raise the fear up even more. So people are getting irritated.
Yes.
People are getting harassed. There'll be times you have some homeless people who are very violent, and people have to run out the subway car.
Right.
So I get what coming on. That scenario. When I'm trying to put a picture, that scenario made it look messy. But the guy did it totally wrong.
I just want to say this, Black David. I'm not okay. Black David, can you hear me? Can you hear me? I just want to say this. I'm not going to sit up here and be naive and think that they're not homeless people in New York that can be trouble for people on the subway. I totally get that that's a reality. But for those of you that are from New York, like yourself, would you admit or agree, not that you're not agreeing, that piss poor policies within New York are also contributing to people like this on the subway that can also become a potential danger to people? So you not only, if we're going to set up here for some people that are going to blame Jordan Neely for his behavior and for what happened to him, right? Then certainly you're going to have to put a fan at the New York cities, because if they're not going to if they're not dealing with this, it's going to happen. Now, Black David, I got to say this. I personally, you live out there, so you see it more than I would. I personally have a problem with New York naming themselves a sanctuary city. How can you name yourself a sanctuary city when you haven't even of people that already live there as citizens? And then you bring migrants over from Mexico and people that are going to sneak over here, and you're now setting them up in hotels. Those things first priority are your citizens. I just found out something, Black David, that's going to blow everybody away. Do you know that Chicago, because I listen to a lot of radio in Chicago during the week, Chicago has they just found out that Chicago has a surplus of money, and they are proposing to use that money for those migrants that have been shipped up there from Texas. And the black folks in Chicago are saying, wait a damn minute. What about us and what we've been trying to do here? So let me just stop there. I'm on my bully pulpit right now. But what do you think about that?
You are totally you are totally correct. New York City has been a city of nothing but pure pain and headache. You're absolutely correct about that, because this is something I've been trying to wrap my head around for the longest. You're building all these type of shelters. You sometimes shut down the men's shelter but create more women's shelters. They're not taking care of the issue you have at hand. You're trying to bring more onto your plate. There was a former transit president who came from Canada, right? There's a time when Andrew Cuomo was the governor. His job was to fix up MTA. One of the policies he wanted to enact is to force the MTA PD to clean up the subway system whereby remove almost all the homeless people off the system because that was one of the number one headache. You know, there was somebody executive were pushing back at him, saying it's not possible. And if we were scratching our head, well, I'm a contractor, we think like, what you mean? What's going on? This man knew that they're going to lead to a problem. He knew that. Okay, it's like you're paying for a service. If you're paying for a service and you don't clean it up, and you allow that little nuisance to go on in Philadelphia, how would I put it? In Philadelphia, the homeless people are not allowed to dwell in their system. I watch the Philadelphia PD systematically comb through the system every day, every night. If they see you want it, you pay for it, you can't hang out here. They will remove you off the system. And I was looking at it, if Philly is doing it, why New York is not doing the same things? They just walk past it.
Well,
so there was an action about to happen.
Right. I got to say this, brother. To New York's credit, when I did my show last week, New York actually has more shelters. They open up more shelters than we do in California. So California has been criticized for having less shelters and allowing more people to sleep on the street, whereas New York has more shelters, and they have these sort of mandates where you have to use those shelters. So there's some areas where they're doing better than what we're doing in California, but still there's a problem when you allow an influx of people to come in, and then you say, we're a sanctuary city, and you didn't allow your citizens to even vote on this stuff, and you've already got these problems. It's just crazy. And then we wonder why these conservative governors in Texas and Florida are sending these folks to these states where you have sanctuary cities, and they're mainly sending them to states that have black governor or black mayors. They're not sending them to Washington State or Oregon, which are sanctuary cities. There's a racial component to this, I believe. But let me go over to Lion's Den. You've been waiting patiently, and let me get your thoughts. You heard my presentation today. I laid out some things near the end. What are your thoughts, brother Lion's Den?
Well, info, it's sort of like deja vu all over again. It's like we're living in a time that that the Eric Garner situation in New York is still going on in 2023. And the way I see it now is that it hasn't changed. Because let me say this now. Daniel Penny said that he was quote unquote threatened. But why would you been even threatened if you choke this brother from behind? That doesn't look like he was threatened.
Well, keep in mind there were 3 other people that were assisting him in this matter, and I'm wondering, will Braggs and his DA office, why don't they go find those other guys that were involved? Because they contribute to this situation as well. It's interesting how you're not hearing anything about the other 3 guys that were involved in this situation. But go ahead, Lions Den. I just wanted to add that.
I totally agree because it could also would have been charged as well because there's 3 guys there that was standing around, and they could also would have been charged for accessory. But but the thing of it, the reality is, info, is that when as a people will understand that there's also, like you said, it's military involvement with this, military connections, but also a law enforcement connection as well. Because even on my videos that I've done, that I found out, and this is all across social media, that his father, and like you already talking about that the father was a retired colonel of the New York State Police Department. So if you have this connection with the military connection with he was a U.S. Marine, what does this have to do with this brother being murdered? They got nothing to do with that.
Well, obviously they're saying that because, as I was saying in the beginning of my presentation, and this is just obvious, I think they need to set a narrative so that you don't see Daniel Penny in a demonstrative manner, and you must see Jordan Neely as a monster. Now, with that said, the brother did have issues. Okay, he had issues. He had mental health problems, which this country is in denial of really helping people in that area. He lost a mother. He had issues, but it doesn't excuse taking his life. And I read the statute in the law not too long ago. It says once you have a situation, you're supposed to restrain a person and then try to get law enforcement. Or it's not like he was just by himself. He had other guys there assisting him in this matter, right? So they were technically not supposed to take his life, but maybe restrain him until they could get him to some authorities. But they took it too far and he took his life, which would be under manslaughter, reckless behavior that leads to the deletion of someone's life. So, Jordan had problems, but I just don't think he should have been deleted like that. He should have never been deleted and handled in that way. And I still keep coming back to this point here. He did not, no one was harmed. People left that particular part of the train, but he didn't actually harm anybody. And this is important because they got to ask this in court. I hope they do. Was there any report that Jordan Neely put his hands on Daniel Penny? There's no evidence. There's been no evidence. Nothing been put out there. Nothing's been confirmed that he put hands on Daniel Penny. What we do have by that guy Velasquez is that he said that Jordan took his jacket off and threw it on the ground. And the last time I checked, if someone takes their jacket off and throw it on the ground, that technically didn't harm me. I may not like what I see. It may catch me off guard, but he didn't throw the jacket at somebody. He threw it on the ground. And the fact that a man wants to go to jail to get 3 meals in a cot, that tells you just how far our society is going down the drain, that we're in this state of affairs. Lion's Den. Let me do this, Lion's Den. I'll come back to you very soon. The real Aaron Collin, and then I want to make sure I get to Sister Taylor and Brother Maurice Smith that's here too, who's come on and joined us. Go ahead, Brother real Aaron Collins.
Hey, salute Info Man and everyone else on the panel. I just wanted to basically say that this shouldn't really surprise us. This whole situation is very systemic of the society that we live in. And not to mention, I put this in the chat, that the fact that he was a Marine, that means by law, he's militarily trained. So basically his body is a weapon. So his type of training shouldn't have even been used against a civilian. And even though Jordan Neely, we know he was acting erratic, but he was still a civilian. Basically, he was a non-combatant individual. So if anything, Penny's type of training should have been used to protect Neely and not delete him. So once again, though, like I said, the system, and this society, the system we live in, the systemic of how we live, how they view Black life, and how they view us as a people. They view us as animals to begin with, and I've said this before, that the Black man has always been the proverbial boogeyman in society.
I want to say that you make very good points, real Aaron Collins. Very, very real points. Let me go over to Sister Taylor. And happy Mother's Day to you if you are a mother, my sister. And and I want to say thank you again for the super chat and support of the channel, as always. But let's hear your point of view on this.
Okay, can you hear me okay? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, great,
yes,
great.
I can hear you.
Okay, brother. And definitely you're welcome. By the way, brother, information man, I am originally from Oakland, California. So every time, I tune in the chat, I'm like, that's my brother. Yep.
Yeah, I lived in Oakland. I love Oakland. Oakland.
Yeah, I went to Castlemont.
Go ahead. Give it to us.
Yeah, I went to Castlemont, Elmhurst, and Highland Elementary. I'm from the 90th Street.
Oh, man, I remember when I was I ain't gonna lie to you. I was in high school. I played on the basketball team. And I remember at Castlemont, y'all got that little small gym.
Yeah.
Little small.
Yep.
That's a man.
Yep. And
we went up in there. We was like, we got to get out of here, man. They gonna get us. Nah. It's in a tough area of Oakland. But I got nothing but respect for Oakland and the people that are there. it's a blue collar town and the people are straight real. You can't get any
Yes.
realer than folks from Oakland. But go ahead. I want to hear your thoughts. You heard what I laid out already, but I want to hear your thoughts on this situation.
Okay, I have to say this, okay? Unfortunately, we live, let me go here first. This case reminds me so much of our brother, Ahmaud Arbery, okay? Remember how the DA was tangled up in this mess where they didn't want to, they were like hiding evidence, hiding this and that stuff, remember? Yes. So the DA, because remember, the Michaels, the father, the senior, he was a part of somewhere, I think he was please, if I'm incorrect, please correct me. But wasn't he some type of sheriff or somewhere in the some part of the politics? I don't know if he was a retired sheriff or retired.
Oh, you're talking about in the case of Ahmaud Arbery?
Ahmaud Arbery, yes.
Yes. Because basically the son and father, the father was a retired sheriff or a police officer in that area of Georgia. Right. Yes. So he had a connection to that police department, and they were making all sorts of biases for him, right? And that's why I kept saying that if I'm correct, they say that Daniel Penny's father is connected to the policing in New York as an ex-state police. And also Key, the lawyer that he hired, is very, very connected to the military himself, as well as this whole what you see going on with this whole mega movement going on. And and people may say, oh, it doesn't make any sense. It does make sense. He has a rivalry with the new DA of Manhattan, Braggs, because they ran against each other in 2021. So there's some tit for tat going on here as well, potentially. And you heard on that video that I played that his lawyer, which he's doing what he's supposed to do, he's playing up the military service for him. Very heavy with the military talk. Definitely. But go ahead, sister, continue with what you were saying. I didn't want to cut you off.
Excuse me. Oh, no, it's okay, brother. It's okay. Great talking points. I'm glad you're helping me out. But see, okay, here's the thing. I'm going to tell you something. And I've been crying about this. I mean, it becomes overwhelming. See, once you're woke, okay, and I know a lot of people hate that word woke, but once you are oblivious to what's going on and you see it, and it's like, it's like, sometimes I'm gonna be honest with you, with the way things are going and our people being scattered all over the place, and we're not unified to the point where it's on a collective level, okay? A lot of this stuff wouldn't be happening if our people came together collectively. I really and truly believe that, and right now, we're living at a time where none of this surprises me. More and more and more things are happening. And they're showing us, white supremacy is showing us on a daily that they are going to continue to keep us under their knees, okay? Our necks under their knees, because they see we're not doing anything about it, again, as a collective. So as far as what happened to our brother, that's just another case and another hashtag. And if I can mention this, brothers, okay, if y'all go to, this is, man, I'm telling you, this is what really, really got to me. Like other cases, but just recently, yesterday, I was watching Dr. Rashad on Indisputable, and he was
I like him. I love his show.
Right. Now, check this out, Information Man Show, and all of you guys that are listening. Just 4 days, he did an update on our brother who was shot in the mouth by a cop. Did y'all hear about that case? About the, I think that was in Mississippi. I gotta look into that.
Haven't heard about it. Wow.
Oh, it gets worse. Okay. Now, when he did the update, he said the cops that were involved had the two brothers take a shower together. They were sexually abused by these cops. What else can happen, you guys? What else needs to happen to us? Okay. So let me say this. As far as Mother's Day, Father's Day, and all this stuff. Oh, you have to. I screenshot it.
I'm already feeling sick.
Let me tell you.
Sorry, making me feel kind of sick. I don't know.
Yeah, and let me tell you. Okay. These two brothers, they were dating white women or whatever. So these cops were livid. But for them to go to that extent, I mean, not only just threaten these men, our brothers, but to make them take showers and use just, okay. Anyway.
Okay.
So when I saw that, No. But this
Oh
is,
my
y'all,
God.
the stuff is real out here. This shit is real, what they're doing to our people. Okay. And like I said, to me, reparations is not in the form of money, it's in the form of unity. Because when you're unified, you have the power to not just take what's rightfully yours. Okay. You can go beyond that. You can go. And that's one of course, that's taking back what's yours. That's number one. Let me go back and correct that. Taking back what is yours. To me, reparations is in the form of unity. Because if y'all notice, every other group that's unified, they take care of each other. And that's what we need to do. And one other thing, if I can mention, for this Daniel Penny to have already raised over $1 million for his defense. We have a brother, Ozone, who is defending himself in this whole case. You can find out through otho.org what happened. And he's looking at the death penalty. And he's an advocate, yes, for our community. They've only raised under $70,000 for this brother. And
the reality is that, if I could say, sister, the reality is that, and I know people won't like hearing what I'm about to say, but the reality is that white people in this country, they are on code with each other. They work as a team when one another are in trouble. And they do it unconsciously and consciously, meaning it's just automatic for them.
Yeah.
And so, and I hate to say what I'm about to say, I personally, and just from observation, I believe on some really deep level, unfortunate level, that in some ways black people do not like each other.
Yes.
And therefore, self-consciously, because we may in some way, you guys heard me say this a million times, self-consciously we may not like ourselves when we look in the mirror, and therefore we will not like those who look like us.
Come on.
And we're easily led to harm one another, dox and hurt one another. We see it on the YouTube streets here. Talk about one another, devalue both men and our women, because deep down under the self-conscious and conscious mind, we're not really happy with who we are and our status in our life. And I know it's a hard thing to hear me say. It's a hard pill to swallow, but I think it manifests itself in us doing what? Deleting one another, hating on one another. And there's a cultural conditioning to this that manifests itself in the way that we see white as superior, and we see black as inferior. And as a reflection of that cultural conditioning, we underestimate, undervalue, and marginalize people who look like ourselves, and the larger society does it to us as well. And it's a real serious problem. And this is why he can get people that he doesn't even know that will defend him in his defense, because why? All they have to say is one word that you've been hearing 1,000 times: ex-Marine. That's the code word.
That's
Boom. Now you may say, well, Marines come in all different sizes and shapes and colors. When they say that word Marine, it ain't the same when they say it for them than when they call a black person a Marine. And even if, and this, I'm not being, I don't want to be disrespectful to people who have military service and have served this country as a black man or black woman. But I gotta be honest, when they use the word Marine for you versus them, it ain't the same. It's a code word that they use for each other, as many codes that they have. Anyway, that's just my opinion on that. Let me get over it, if I can, my sister. If you have anything else you want to add, go right ahead before I get to Maurice Smith and let him break some things down for us.
Yes, and you know what? The truth shouldn't even hurt us. It should definitely set us free. What you just said, my brother, you 1,000%, I agree with you. Thank you so much, okay?
I thank you, and don't be a stranger. I don't have panels that often, but when there's certain situations like this, I think it's important for me to eventually have a panel and hear from what people's opinions, and as well as people in the chat room. So thank you for coming up, and you know, if you're leaving, if you are planning to leave, I want to say thank you for coming up in the first place.
Okay, thank you, brother. And again, I really don't celebrate any holidays. To me, it's not celebratory, because our people have been really affected negatively by so many of these holidays that we celebrate. Okay, and I'm going to go back to the chat, but thank you, brother.
But let me just say this to you. I like that you said that because we know that, let's be honest, I know that Mother's Day is very popular, but we know that a lot of these holidays are driven by economics. They just want your ass to go to the store, go shop, buy a bunch of stuff. Think about it. And they know that they promote the Mother's Day more than the Father's Day because they know that they can get a bag off of people because they know everybody's got a mother, children, everybody's got a mother, and mothers are very beloved in our society when it comes to this time of the year, only because they want your ass to go to that Mother's Day sale. Go get you some brunch today. You know what I'm saying? But thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, brother. And the brothers on there.
All right. All right. There she is. Thank you.
Thank you
for saying the things that you said today. Now, Brother Smith, I know you've been patient. Let's hear what you got to say. And thank you for coming back on over here as usual, brother. Go right ahead.
So how's it going?
Going fine. I'm anxious to hear. And let me just say this, Brother M Music Man 1982. I appreciate the super chat that you sent me. I didn't miss that, brother. Thank you very much. And everybody in the chat room that's taking time today. Go right ahead, man. I want to hear your perspective. However, whatever perspective it is, we need to hear it.
Well, you hit quite a few gems, so I don't know where to begin.
I'm going to listen to you.
Well, you just hit a good one just a few minutes ago when you was talking about how being on code, how, white society, I mean, they just do, I mean, it's like a second nature, automatic.
They don't think about it.
Exactly.
We the only ones that got to think about what we're going to do for our own people.
Right. And don't think about it. And like you said, that Marine thing was a code saying it's military. And, it just sets, the tone and say, hey, about supporting the troops. You got to support the troops. You got to support in particular, in this case, white troops, as compared to, maybe black servicemen, which we got a great history in the military because we're dependable. Black people, as you already know, I hope everybody else know, have fought in every war since this country was accepted, and since the inception. So,
let me just say this. Let me just say this to you, brother. We got a man in the chat room by the name of Mandrell. He is, I believe, a Marine himself. I got to give him respect. Now,
no, he's in the Army Special Forces.
Army. Let me correct myself. Thank you for that, Black David. Okay, he's in the Army, but this is the point I was going to make. And thank you, Mandrell, for being here, brother. I got a lot of respect for you. This is what I got to say, because I don't want people to think that I'm trying to piss on the military. This is the bottom line. America would not have the freedoms that it has if it was not for the black soldier. If it was not for the Tuskegee Airmen, if it wasn't for the triple nickel. How many people know about the triple nickel? The all black paratroop outfit. There's a lot of black, and then you had black women in the military. Look, if black people had never been in the military to help fight, we would be talking German. Some of us wouldn't even be alive right now. If Hitler had his way, right? So it's not that black soldiers don't matter. They do. But when they call you a Marine or a military man, it's not the same as when they call the white guy the military guy. Because guarantee it, let's say let's say that Jordan Neely was the military guy and Daniel Penny was the homeless white guy and he had to put the chokehold on him. I just wonder if society would play up the military service of the black man who just deleted the white man who's homeless in New York. Y'all be my guests on that one. Continue, Brother Smith. I'm sorry I cut you off. I just wanted to make that point.
That was perfect. That was perfect.
That's not going to happen. They're not going to play the same with Chuck.
Right.
New York City.
That's what I'm glad you said that, because see, I'm former military. I was in the National Guard.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Uh-oh, he's froze. Come out and come back in if you can, brother Smith. Oh, he's here. Okay, you froze a little bit. Continue what you was trying to say. It's all right. Continue with what you were trying to say. Start from the beginning.
Yeah, so I was in the military myself. Late 80s, early 90s, it was the National Guard. So I was like third generation because my uncle was in. He was in Vietnam, fighting in Vietnam, and my grandfather was actually in World War II when it was segregated. So I can almost, I don't want to be trying to take over the chat, so I can tell you stories over and over, especially for my my uncle didn't talk that much about his time in because he was actually in combat, but my grandfather did talked about a little bit of time that he did actually when I actually got out of it. So, but like I said, I'm a third generation, so I know about how especially I learned a lot about the military, and particularly when while I was in, and then as I got out, because they like to recruit a lot of black people, black men, black women, based on the fact that they're very loyal. First and foremost, they're very loyal. They know they ain't gonna be trying to, and they sell the kind of like the American dream to them, because that's a way to move up in the world. Middle class, you get the the training, the educational benefits, because that's the reason why I did it. And then of course you can make some money. You're not gonna be rich, but hey, it's a way, upward mobility.
A lot of black people go into the military too as a way to gain the benefits and opportunities that maybe you may not have gotten in other areas. So I totally agree with what you're saying. But it doesn't mean that, look, black people, and particularly black men, I believe are some of the most patriotic people in our society. If you look at our history, like you said, black men fought in World War I, World War II, Civil War. And of course, people always say that Chris Fick-Adams was the first black man to die in the Revolutionary War, even though I think the Negro fought on the wrong side personally, but because you see what happened in history. But again, we have a long history in military service in this country, and it should be respected. But it's just funny how, it's not really funny, how when something happens with black men in these situations, nobody praises the military service. It's just interesting that way. We got Brother Mandrell on here, and I would like to get your honest opinion about your opinion about the situation. They gave him manslaughter. I don't like it, but I understand why they did that in the law, because you got to murder is a higher burden. You got to have proof of intent, that his intent was to go on that train and to take someone's life that day. So I understand under the law why they did that. I don't like it, but I personally think this might be another Kyle Rittenhouse situation. I wouldn't be surprised, Mandrell, if Daniel Penny gets off for this. And also, once again, I was correct about Black David. You were in the military, of course. The Army was a branch that you served in. And Ivan, I don't know if you agree or disagree with me, but I almost feel like they keep repeating the military service of Daniel Penny to set a narrative that he is a courageous man. You shouldn't see him as wrong for doing what he did. That I feel like it's setting up his acquittal of all these charges, or the charge of manslaughter. That's just my opinion. But Brother Mandrell, what are your thoughts on all matters? Mr. Mandrell, are you there? What's happened?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay, I thought the man.
Come on, man. You got a better PC. You can't be acting like that.
I was sitting here talking.
Hey, man, Mandrell, I thought the man had got you. And by the way, why I got all the guys on here? This is a side note, and I need y'all as soon as y'all possibly can today, is to get over to my sports channel. The Prime Sports Media is blowing up over there. Make sure you subscribe to Prime Sports Media. I'm doing all content on Dion and Colorado and what's happening with college football. That channel's blowing up over there, absolutely. But go right ahead. That's a side note. Mandrell, go ahead.
Yeah. First of all, when it comes to this, first of all, thank you for having me up here. Appreciate it. When it
I'm
comes
glad
to
to have you here.
Yeah, when it comes to his military service, he's a Marine, and he did take the guy out by a rear naked choke, right?
Yes, sir. I'm following your lead.
Right. How long did he have him in that rear naked choke?
Well, there's some the guy that was the witness, I think his name is Velasquez, if I'm saying that name correct.
Mhm.
He said it was 15 minutes. But then you got people that live in New York. We got, I don't know if 12 Veils is still here. She lives in New York. There's people that said, how about you count the stations that they stopped at? It could be even longer than 15 minutes. But that's what was put out there. Go right ahead.
Well, if you know how to apply a rear naked choke, you know that it only takes seconds to render someone unconscious with a rear naked choke properly applied. Seconds.
And he's military trained too, so he really would know how to apply.
If the military trains you to put that rear naked choke on somebody, you know it doesn't take 15 minutes. That guy's dead in 15 minutes. That guy's dead in 5 minutes. 5 minutes, he's dead. What I'm saying is he may as well be dead, because if what you're doing is with rear naked choke is you're cutting off blood from the brain. So in 5 minutes, no blood to the brain, you've done brain damage. This guy may as well be dead. 6 minutes, he is gone. Like, he's not coming back in 6 minutes. 6 minutes, he's not coming back from that ever. You know, so the guy, they're trying to put up his military service and make him look like he's heroic. But when I see that, the first thing I thought was he should have known better. He should have known better. That was completely unnecessary. Like, and then he held him there for 15 minutes, like, and he didn't know the guy was dead. Why are you applying a rear naked choke if you don't know how to use it? Like, that'd have been the same thing if he had a gun, he aimed for the heart, hit him, and they said, "Well, I didn't know." Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Why are you playing with something you don't know about? Okay, I mean, or just you could have just tackled the guy to the ground and restrained him there. You didn't have to go for his neck. You know, and this whole thing with them touting his military, I'd be interested in knowing how many black veterans they prosecuted while trying to do the right thing. The military service never comes up.
You know what, Mandrell, that is brilliant. I'm going to try to see if I can do some research on that. That would be very interesting to know how many. Man, you just took the thoughts right out of my mind before I thought about them. You're telling the truth there. Damn.
Yeah.
Tell the truth.
They never bring up your military service if you're black and try to tout you as a hero. If anything, they try to weaponize it against you. This guy's trained and he's unhinged. What do you mean unhinged?
Wait a minute. Now look. Now I know I'm going to bring up something that people probably are going to say, well, why are you bringing that up? But I got to bring this up, even though he's not military trained. Remember in the OJ case that they said because OJ had some training. Now, maybe if you think he did it. I'm not arguing that. But the point I'm trying to make is they said that OJ, because he had training from a Navy SEAL on using knives for a movie or something, that qualified him to be able to do what he did to them, the way they got cut up, right? They automatically said that about OJ, a man who's not military trained, who's just making movies, okay? And all of a sudden, because he had a little training for a movie, for one little scene, they made OJ, whether you think he did it or not, that's not my point. They made OJ sound like he was a Green Beret. Remember that? Man,
right. And I think I was a Green Beret. And the amount of training we got was extensive. It was ongoing. It didn't stop because you need that to be proficient with a weapon like a knife. You know, or to be proficient with any weapon. We're constantly training with weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a perishable skill. Like if OJ got that training years ago, you can't hold that against him. He doesn't know how to use that knife anymore. Not like that. It's a perishable skill. And you're right. They try
that may not be the best
him.
Example I can use. There might be other better examples, but it just came to my mind.
No, it's a perfect example. Those classes are like an hour or maybe 2 hours. Let's be generous here, okay? Let's say the training lasted a week, which it does not. This happened, that whole thing with OJ happened years later. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you pick that out of everything the guy's done to use against and weaponize it against him? It's ridiculous. Like, that doesn't count anymore. He doesn't know how to use it. No, he's not going to be that good at with a knife. It was as sloppy as that scene was. Right. That was used by someone who's proficient with a knife? No.
Right. Somebody asked a very good question in the chat room. Can't Jordan Neely file a wrongful death lawsuit? Well, he can't file it because he's no longer alive, but maybe his family could. But that's a question I need to ask the Empower Esquire, who's a lawyer. I'm gonna connect with her and get some legal questions from her. Oh, and before you, I don't know how long you've been here, brother Mandrell, but earlier in the program, I did read the law in New York, and it does say that, okay, it's illegal for police to use chokeholds. Chokeholds are illegal for the police to use. They're actually not suitable for citizens to use. They were saying that only time a citizen in New York is allowed to use a chokehold is if you can prove that your life personally was in ultimate danger. Other than that, it's reckless behavior. And they gave him that manslaughter charge because they're saying that, as I said before, their notion is that it wasn't his intent to wake up that day and say, I'm going to take someone's life when I get on the train today. So that's the argument that would be made for people who say, hey, why didn't they give him the murder charge? Which I wish he would have got that. But, you know, they're going to use that. They're using the law in that way. And that's why I think he's going to get off for this, because I think he's going to try to make it sound like he was in such danger from Jordan Neely. And I said earlier in the show, from the eyewitness account, Vasquez, who stated that when Jordan Neely got on the train and said he was hungry and he was thirsty and he didn't mind going to prison or jail, and I know why he said that, because he can get those 3 hot meals in a place over his head, whether, you know, when he said that, he ripped his jacket off and he threw it to the ground. That's the only aggressive thing he did in terms of him speaking loud out of his voice, but he never threw his jacket at a person. He didn't even put his hands on a penny. He simply threw the jacket to the ground, and then he said people went into other carts at that point. So if people left that train, that subway cart, and go to other places, then why did they put hands on him? And there's no report of any other witnesses saying, yes, he put his hands on Penny and the other men, and he fought other people, he hit other people, all of that. You see how this whole thing smells really stinky?
Yeah, he had no reason to put his hands on the guy if that's all he did, you know. And again, they're already painting a narrative for this guy. When like I told you, a rear naked choke, if you're applying it properly, seconds, that person's unconscious. And I'm not talking about like 30 or 40 seconds. No, if I put you in that, no, it's not even. If I put it on you, apply that on you, information man, you're talking about somewhere between 4 and 6 seconds. I can have you sleep.
All right. And remind everybody, Mandrell, you're not listening to someone that's just blowing whistles here. This is a man who's military trained. Remind him of your military service. Mandrell knows what he's talking about. Go right ahead, brother.
Yeah, I was in the 7th Special Forces group.
Okay, damn it. He knows what he's talking about.
Oh, yeah.
So
I was agreeing.
Somebody who's just up here on YouTube just talking about something that they've never been a part of training like this. He knows what he's talking about. I totally agree with you, Mandrell. He probably was already deleted and expired before he even got anywhere near a 15 minutes. Anywhere. But the media is running with that.
And that's the narrative they want to paint to make him out to be a hero. And you can't do that, especially when people had the opportunity to walk away. That means that he had the opportunity to walk away as well, just like everyone else. So what are you doing?
Right. And also, to be fair here too, because Black David lives in the New York area.
I understand that, but
acknowledge we did live in. I did mention in the show earlier, Mandrell, that we do recognize that there are some people that get on subway trains in New York. I got
mental health issues,
and it can be very horrific. It's a health issue. There can be people that are volatile. We're not denying that isn't a factor and a reality, but we also mentioned, Mandrell, that we believe that it is the poor policies in New York that have also contributed to these potential things happening, because they have failed to
coming from the MTA executive policies.
Right. And I also feel that this whole situation with the migrants that have been coming in, that they're doing a lot for, is taking away resources from the people that actually are there. I think that's a bad deal, in my opinion. But anyway, let me stop there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But haven't that been the way it's always been? Like, how do you like? I always say people are asking the wrong questions. Like people, they're like, "Will they come over here and open up a store in 2 weeks?" I'm like, you ever wonder how they're able to do that? Like they come over, but before they get here, they're told how to do it. So this whole thing is late. This whole game plan for them to open up restaurants or corner stores and gas stations is laid out for them, and they're taught how to do it before they even get here. Really,
do it, and there's programs set aside
yeah,
for them
for low interest loans and stuff like that. And what's left for you? And you've been here since day. In fact, you built it.
Right, Mandrell. I had said this before you came up, brother, earlier in the show. I listened to a lot of radio in Chicago during the week, and guess what? This is gonna blow you away. They found out that after Laura Lightfoot, left office, and you got Brandon Johnson, the new mayor of Chicago, they found out that Chicago has a surplus of money. And guess what they're proposing to do with some of that money? They're going to use some of that money to help the migrants that were shipped there in the city of Chicago. And you've got people that live in Chicago, black folks in particular, that are saying, wait a minute, what about the problems that we've been telling you about in our community? So here you got, and look, I got to be honest. It's sad for me to have to say this, but I got to be honest. A lot of these Democratic run cities are piss poor in the way they're operating.
Absolutely. And that's why a lot of military personnel are apolitical, because we know that it doesn't make a difference.
While we blame Babbitt and some of these governors in Texas or whoever that's sending them to seems like they're only sending them to cities where there's black mayors, while we're complaining about them doing that, which I think what they're doing is wrong, in my opinion. But we also have to look at San Francisco, LA, New York, and say, well, what the hell were you guys doing making yourself a sanctuary city, and you never took it to a vote of the people to see if the people want this situation to impact their damn city? Because I live in California. I never asked to be sanctuary. Nobody sent me a ballot or had me vote on the measure to be sanctuary state. I don't want to be a sanctuary state. That's just my opinion.
I agree. No one's put it to things like that should be put to a vote, especially for the people who live there. And
who will be the most impacted,
right?
The most impacted by it. Anyway, I'm on one right now. Let me see here, brother, because I want to get some more thoughts here. Real Aaron Collins, do you have anything else you want to add, brother, before I get to conclusion for the day? What's going on, Von Bryant? Good to see you, brother.
Bottom
Black
line,
David, I know, Black David, you've been quiet too. Go ahead, Real Aaron Collins, and I'll get to Black David.
bottom line, we as a people, this is it's literally past crunch time. If we don't get unified, we're not going to be here long. I mean, the signs are literally being written on the wall right now to unify. To add to what the sister was saying earlier, reparations, we do need reparations in the form of unity, but we definitely need it in the form of cash as well. So, I mean, as far as that, if we can get it together, because we need cash, money, whatever, to fund whatever we're trying to do. And it needs to be done yesterday. I mean, this is something that should have been in the works. Trump being in office should have told us that. I mean, I've always considered Trump's presidency as the fire that was collectively lit under our ass for us to move into action. And yet we're still in party mode. We're still in the club. We're still doing everything we can to lull ourselves to sleep.
I think I'm going to be honest with you, and people won't like this. I think that black people, certainly there are black people of a certain economic background that are going to be able to survive a certain amount of things. But I think in general, black people, we're in a lot of trouble. Look at California. We're basically disappearing in California as we're being moved out of California. San Francisco, if you can find a black man in San Francisco in large numbers, good luck. We're being moved out of there. Even in Oakland, a city that I lived in and I loved, Oakland has lost about 25% of its black population as people are being pushed, moved out. If you go to Los Angeles, black people are being pushed further and further out to places like Riverside County. You know what I'm talking about. You live in LA. And then if you look at what's happening around the country as other groups are being moved in, black people are being displaced, and we're in a lot of trouble. I don't know why, what we got to party and rap about, what we got to finger pop about. I just don't know when we got so much going on. And only thing I can say is that as a black man, as a father, black men, we've got to be responsible for our tribe. We got to be responsible for taking care of our family, our children. We got to prepare. I don't want to say hope for the best. We got to prepare for the worst. That's my attitude. We got to prepare for the worst so that if the worst happens, we're already able to overcome it. I just think that we're in a lot of trouble. We really are. We're in a lot of trouble. If I sit up here and said that everything was glory for us right now, I'll be lying to you. I think black people in general, we're in a lot of trouble. Because if you got other groups coming over here, they're telling you already they don't need you. Your labor is not necessary. Look at what's happening with technology. Eventually, certain jobs are going to be obsolete. They're not going to need you. And so if black people don't somehow turn it around, we're in a lot of trouble.
I'll just say it before I get up. As black people, you need to stop trying to burn bridges with your allies who are trying to help. That's the problem. Because all this new group division, it's not helping anybody. When I heard about the new that took place in California, I'm like, okay, so what's next now? Because I knew this for a while. When we have this infighting going on for far too long, what do they allow us to divide ourselves more and more so they can use that opportunity to initiate their policy, start pushing people out. The same thing that happened in California. Look at New York City. I live in New York, especially Brooklyn. Majority of black people don't live downtown Brooklyn anymore. Like you're making a lot of money. And Brooklyn of the 80s and the 90s is not the same no more. You got to make at least $250,000 a year to actually live downtown.
Black people are being gentrified in New York, where you are, brother. You're right. I don't need to tell you something that you already know. Neighborhoods that were undesirable at one point in time are becoming desirable, and people are moving in. The rents, the housing costs is going up, and that's forcing people out. And we're impacted.
Look at Brooklyn.
Look, I just don't think they want.
That's where I live at.
They don't
that's where I live.
Look, Black David, let me remind you of something. And I want people to get this. This is why we do have to unify in one way or another. And I did a video about this. When the Haitians were over across the border in large numbers, and they were trying to come into, I think, El Paso, Texas, there was a lot of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got a lot of Central Americans and Mexicans that are over the border here in California that they're talking about with this Title 42 being expired, right? There was going to be a run on people trying to come in here, right? Check this out. Remember when the Haitians were under the freeway and there were large numbers of them? What did the United States government do to the Haitians, Black David?
Get them real dirty.
They rounded them all up. I hate to use these words.
And there was video showing them on horse, whooping them.
Whipping them. But this is what they did. They made sure that they rounded them all up. They didn't say anything about, hey, we're going to help you to get asylum in America. They just simply rounded them all up. And these were Haitians that had been over there for 10 years. They came in through Brazil. When the United States told them, when they had that earthquake, we're going to help you come into the country.
I know.
And the United States reneged on it. And so what did they do? They rounded them all up, put them on planes. They hadn't been in Haiti for over 10 years or more. And they send them all back to Haiti. And did you hear anybody of all these other groups of people or the government say, Why are you doing that to the Haitians? Give them asylum. Give them their day in court. Nobody said a word. They just flew them back, sent them back. That's it. Now, when it comes to the Mexicans and the Central Americans, nobody. Guess what? Is there any plane, any vehicles rounding them up, putting them on a plane and shipping them and sending them right back to South America or even Central America or anything? No.
Information
that
man
tells you everything you need to know. They don't
if I
want
can interject,
anybody that's black over here.
Right. If I can interject, I'll tell you about because in seventh group, South America was our AO. That means our area of operation, right?
Okay.
And yes,
military wise.
Yeah,
right.
and yes, the entire continent. For anyone in the audience who, you know, your viewership who asked, yes, the entire continent was our area of operation. So you look at Haiti. There's reasons why. There's a risk assessments being done when they do stuff like this as well. The CIA does it. So does Homeland Security. So does the NSA.
Okay.
Back when the times of slavery, what did Haiti do to their oppressors?
Well, they beat the French. The French
They
never
revolt.
appreciated
Right.
And
see,
that
stop
forced
right
them
there.
to sell off. Go ahead.
That is always taken into account. Will that society rebel if things get bad enough? How likely is it for them to be subdued and stay calm? Nah, you know, a country who upright, especially black people who rose up, you can't have that.
Right.
That's why black people here have only been allowed to rate. We've never gotten any help because they've always been afraid that if we let them get too high up there, they might do to us what we did to them. Or there is an element of that in the calculation. There always is.
Worry about retaliation.
Yeah, there's always that that is always factored into that equation. That's why Haitians, like, as much trouble as they go through, America helps, but only so much. And the only reason why we help is for optics and because it's right there off our shores.
You're telling the truth.
Tell the truth.
You're telling the truth. I have nothing I can say. That's a fact. That's a fact. You're right. I'm not going to pretend that I know all these things, but you're right about the military operations that go on in South America, that those are areas of interest by the United States military. Yeah, facts over top of facts. That's right. But I still had to bring that up because it shows you the double standard. When they talk about immigration and immigrants, they always make it the face of people who are either in South America or Mexico or Central America.
They don't look like us.
And when you have the black Cubans that come over in Florida, I gotta be honest, the white Cubans send them right back. This is what goes on. We're kind of off topic, but not really off topic. It all kind of fits into this situation. But I want to say this. Let me go back over to because I'm going to get ready to end the program. I'm up against the clock right now. But brother Smith, you've been patiently sitting back, listening to what everyone has said. As we get ready to conclude the program today, give us your thoughts as we get ready to call it an end today for this program.
Well, I'm gonna talk about what you actually said. Like I said, you had a lot of good gems about that you said during the broadcast. You mentioned about why is it that they send the migrants to these particular cities was by black mayors and in particularly to the black neighborhoods because they can do it and they think they could do it and get away with it.
Doing it in Chicago right now as I speak.
And right now they did because I'm in Chicago.
Oh, then you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Right.
That school,
right?
Woodlawn,
South Shore.
Right.
And what it is that when you look at Chicago,
yes,
look at the north side, south side, west side.
I'm so glad you're on here. You're from Chicago. You're telling it, giving us inside information here. Go ahead.
We don't have an east side, but actually we do. Our de facto east side is on the south side. So it's the south side is huge. It's the Alaska of the city.
Wow.
And
I can attest to that. I'm from Chicago. I can actually attest to what he's saying.
That's right.
Yeah,
Aaron is from Chicago as well.
Right.
But
you're right about that, brother.
You could be, I could be right on the state line of Indiana, and it would take me like an hour to go to like Midway Airport.
All right. Shout out to people in Chicago. I get a lot of people in Chicago that watch. But Brother Smith, am I correct or wrong? I listened to a lot of during the week. I listened to a lot of the with Perry, WVON in Chicago. I listened to a lot of Perry in the morning.
Okay.
And I heard on their show, tell me if I'm wrong or right, if you heard about this, there's a surplus of money, and they're proposing using that money that is your tax dollars on these migrants that have been sent there from these red states, because Chicago is another city that has no business being a sanctuary city, in my opinion. They should have let you vote on that. But anyway, is that true? Have you heard about that?
I heard a little bit about. So what you saying is, I'm gonna just take it. Since you, I don't be listening to the AM radio that much. I typically like to watch. We got a local station here. If you ever check it, again, you can see it online. WTTW is
I'll listen to them too. I'll
the
listen to them.
PBS channel. That's pretty good as compared as the regular broadcast channels.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna go with what you said as being true.
What I want you to do, though, this is what I want you to do. I want you to actually look. I want you to find it because you live in Chicago. I want you to look into that, brother, and leave me a message on this video whether you found it confirmed. That was reported from WVON when I was listening to them. That was a proposal. I'm not saying that it's going to happen 100%, but I'm hearing that they're proposing it, and people are already fighting it because there's another school out there, another vacant building that you talked about, I believe, that they're trying to put the migrants in, and you got black people out there that need services and resources that are being drained when this is happening. Let me shout out to Yalpo, Stephen Gilmore YouTube channel. Check him out. Golden Melanin Queen, I Know I Am, Empress Goddess, Deborah Guns, Vern Bryant, who's doing a great job in the chat room. Everybody that's here. We got William 454. Who else is here? Dee Dee Taylor came up and dropped some gems on us today. Mike B's in the chat room. Anybody that I didn't acknowledge, I want to say peace and respect to you. Queen Rose is in here. Peggy Roster, everybody, happy Mother's Day for those of you that are mothers, but we know that every day should be Mother's Day. We shouldn't allow just one day to praise and respect our mothers and appreciate what our mothers have done for us. But don't forget fathers too. Come on now, when it's Father's Day, come on now, folks, have that same energy for Father's Day that we have for Mother's Day. Will you do that too? So I appreciate you all out there. Maury Smith, thank you, brother, for coming up on the show today. And hitting us with your gems. Black David, you hit us with gems. You're from New York. It's kind of interesting that we're talking about New York, and we got a brother up here from New York, and then we talk.
And I see it every day.
We got brothers up here from Chicago, and you see it every day. Black David, let me ask you this, because you're in New York. How do people at this stage of the game? How are people surviving in New York? There's so many things going on. You've got homeless problem, which black people make up 56% of that in New York. You've got the subway system issues. You've got people that are being pushed out of neighborhoods now. How is people making it? Because a lot of people are also.
You want me to be honest with you?
Go ahead.
I've been watching for the past 5 years. People are getting fed up. From the people who own brownstone houses and they get these laws chained upon them without no warning, and they lose their car for no apparent reason. They're getting fed up already. So people are leaving New York City.
Okay.
They're moving.
Wow.
It's like they get the memo. We're not wanted here.
Okay. Wow.
You look at the New York City Housing Connect website, which is more like a scam, for to get on affordable homes. It's the same thing.
Okay.
So living out here is not that simple, and I'm telling you.
Okay, I hear
you. If there's no unity, there's no point staying here.
Right. There's no point in staying there. There's unity. You're not going to get anywhere. Black David, thank you for your insight, my brother. I appreciate that. Now
I'm about to get out of here.
I want Mandrell to do something for me right now. Mandrell, I want you to let everybody know about your show on Black Men Unfiltered's network, and let everybody know when you do your show, when they can catch you over there with it's you and Shushu, right?
Yeah, my younger sister, Shushu.
Shushu. Okay.
Yeah.
Let everybody know the night, the time, so that the audience over here can, all you gotta do, everybody, is subscribe. Check out Black Men Unfiltered, and he has different folks who broadcast on different days on his platform. But Mandrell, let everybody know when they can catch you over there.
Yeah, you can catch me on the Black Man Unfiltered Network here on YouTube on Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's called Unapologetic with Mandrell and Shushu. Shushu is my younger sister. She also co-hosts with me on the show. And we talk about various different topics. Come check us out. I think this week it might be on effective communication. We have several topics that we're planning out for the next few weeks, but I think this one we're going to go with effective communication. So,
okay,
and problem solving or troubleshooting skills, how to develop those. So I think a lot of people just lack the awareness or the education on how to develop healthy habits when it comes to problem solving, effective communication. We're going to go over some habits that you can practice and to help develop that.
Okay. I appreciate what you're doing over there. Let more people know about it. And Black Men Unfiltered, if you're out there listening, wherever you are, brother, I'll be contacting you. We got to talk about a few things behind the scenes, ways to improve the channel and build the channel up. Mandrell, I got a video that I'm going to be doing on my Info Media Live channel. I need you to definitely tune in. Because there's been some things that I've discovered about YouTube that will definitely assist and help a channel when you're building a channel. And I have a test. I have Exhibit A test of this reality on my new sports channel, my Prime Sports Media, and everything that I've been employing properly is making it work. And it can work depending on the kind of genre that you're doing or niche that you're doing. That will benefit a channel. But I thank you for coming over, and I want people to definitely, what's going on, Party Music DJ? Good to see you, brother. Check out his channel. He's a gamer, and he is very entertaining, very respectful, really cool, brother. I love what he does on his channel. Check him out. He's in the chat room. Really good channel. We got my man Yalpo. Remember, I interviewed Yalpo. He writes books. He's an author. You can check out his stuff. We did the one about melanin. I'm going to have him back because he's got another book out. We're going to promote his book. It's on Amazon. Me and him had a really good personal conversation the other day, and we chopped up a lot of information. And so it's just about us working together, helping one another, and doing the best we can. Use these social media platforms to make a difference if we can. You never know who's listening to you, who may be inspired by what you're doing. So, we can definitely have fun on here, enjoy ourselves, but then there's times when we need to really focus on some real issues too, as we also enjoy fun sometimes. So, Mandrell, thank you for being on here. Brother Maurice Smith from Chicago, my brother, I'm glad that you came up. You added to the show. Real Aaron Collins, I know you have a YouTube channel as well, that people can check out, the Real Aaron Collins on YouTube or any other place. Aaron, where else can people find you? And I know you work out there in LA. You do some work within the entertainment business out there in LA as well. And you have done some acting yourself. But let people know where they can find you on some of the social media. And go ahead.
Yeah, so it's definitely the Real Aaron Collins. I'm going to go back to putting out content, and I'm also got something else in the works. I'm going to drop on everyone. I got something that I'm working on. I mean, eventually start utilizing TikTok and maybe Instagram more too, because I think these some platforms that could benefit. But I do have something else in the works in mind. But right now it's the Real Aaron Collins on YouTube, and I'm gonna go back to putting content on there real soon, and even go back to going live again too, because I haven't been live in a minute.
Yeah, Aaron, when you do that, connect with me so that we can talk behind the scenes, and I can give you tips and things that can really be helpful.
No problem.
I learned
Yes,
a
sir. I
lot,
can do
man.
that.
On my sports channel, do you know that I do not go live on my sports channel at all? I just do pre-produce uploads. But you have to, but you have to hit certain key things. What I'm learning on YouTube, variety channels, unless you've got a lot of subs and a lot of support, variety channels don't necessarily work well with the algorithms. It's when you stay specific to a particular niche subject that people like. But when your channel is all over the place, you're going to get people that subscribe to you based on what you did on that particular video that they liked or they're interested in. So when you do variety channels, the algorithms don't crank it out the same. Unless it's a particular hot button issue where the algorithms will crank that hot button issue out. There's a lot of interesting science to it, but we'll be talking. Brother Maurice Smith, if you have a YouTube channel or any type of podcast or anything that you also do, social media, if you do, let people know where they can find you. If you do have your own podcast or YouTube channel, or, you do some things on social media or whatever it is that you do, go right ahead.
Oh, I have nothing. I'm just, I just be
No,
watching.
not that you have nothing. No, you still
YouTube.
You're somebody, brother. You're somebody. You're 100% on top. No, I would employ. Look. If you've got a message and you're passionate about something, whatever it is, I would employ anybody to create a channel and express yourself. Right? Do what you got. But then even if you're not on social media, I'm pretty sure there's people like yourself who are doing things in the community. You're a great father, a great man in your community. You're doing things. You're supporting people that are doing things. You're right. Everybody is doing something, even if they're not the main one riding the ship. You could be supporting an organization or someone that's doing something in the community, and you're supporting them. We're all doing something that's a benefit, one way or another, indirectly or directly. Like, for example, I support my man George Macomb in the Urban Nerds Worldwide through donating money or buying merch or sending him some cash apps or what have you, because he's doing something with kids on the ground level in Philadelphia that I really respect, and he wants to spread this around the country. So then what do? I can't certainly be there with the kids that he's working with, so I try to support it in an indirect way. We all can do something no matter where we are in the world. So I want to leave y'all with that message, and I want to thank you all for coming up here on the panel today. Aaron, Mandrell, everybody, I'll see you over Mandrell very soon in Black Men Unfiltered whenever he goes live on a hot topic over there. Everybody in the chat room that's been rocking with the channel all day long, thank you. Once again, make sure you subscribe. If you are a lover of sports, football, college football, or what have you, what's going on with Deion and Sanders at Colorado, if you like that kind of stuff, don't hesitate to subscribe to Prime Sports Media and subscribe. That channel is, I don't want to sound braggadocious, but the channel is doing great things. It's growing very quickly. And actually, it's kind of crazy. My views are bigger over there than they are on this channel. But this channel, we talk about very controversial stuff that the YouTube algorithms don't like. You see, they don't want to pump it out there like that. But if you like sports, check out that channel. Be on the lookout for Info Media Live. That channel will be I will be doing a live stream on that channel, dropping some gems about a few things that can help anybody's channel, as well as ways that you should create your YouTube shorts. There's a certain way you should create them, or you should metadata that you should put in the YouTube shorts that will help those shorts. I'll be talking about that on the Info Media Live channel very soon. So with that said, everybody, I'm going to get ready to get out of here. I appreciate all of you. Take care, gentlemen. Take care. Appreciate you all. Peace. So ladies and
Good
gentlemen,
information, man, brothers.
I appreciate all of you that came on the panel today, because without you guys, the show wouldn't be what it is, without people in the chat room that are giving great comments, without people doing what they're doing, and without you all coming on the panel and sharing with me. We got my man Von Bryant. We got Queen I Know I Am, Golden Melanin. We got J Dog in the house. Good to see you. MZ, Kim, Bling Bar, and more. J Dog, good to see you over here, brother. Get over here more often. We got Stephen Gilmore YouTube channel. Check out his channel. Check out J Dog. He's got a channel. Yalpo is in the house. I'm just going to DD. Taylor, thank you once again for that super chat that you gave me, my sister. I appreciate that. Thank you to Black Man Unfiltered for giving me a super chat. Thank you to Party Music DJ. Make sure you check him out as well. And it's been great, everybody. I'm going to get ready to get on out of here. We'll do this again next week. Or maybe even during the week. Sometimes when I want to go live during the week, when I say I'm going to go live, the reason why sometimes I don't go live is because, life gets in the way and I'm not able to go live for whatever the reasons are. And that's why I don't go live, even though I want to go live during the week more. I'm so busy. I'm juggling different channels. So therefore, there's only so many hours in a day that you can do certain stuff. Make sure that you check out, once again, Prime Sports Media and also my other channel, which is going to be moving slowly but forward, and that is Classified Black. That's the channel where I get into mysterious topics and issues that make you go bump in the night, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you again for being here and your great support always. Let's get on out of here. Peace. Peace.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
You are now tuned to BS3 Network. BS3 Network, changing the way you listen to podcasts. BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Tell the truth.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
How many of y'all remember Bernard Gates? Remember this guy on the New York City train? And he deleted, I think it was some black kids. And he was another one was able to get off for this, I believe, with the defense that he was fearing for his life on a New York subway. Subways have the New York subways have had a history of some crazy stuff, y'all. All right now.
Thank you for listening to the Information Man show today. Definitely appreciate your support. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Everyone in the chat room.
I want to say peace to Beverly Palmers. I see you there. I didn't get a chance to give you respect. And we got Maurice Smith, who I got to say thank you again, brother, for coming up and joining the panel as always. Great folks there. Great folks in that chat room. Great folks who support this channel. And I'm going to keep bringing the content to you all. Thank you again.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again. Remember what I said. I hope I'm wrong, but I think that Daniel Penny is gonna get off for what he did. I hate to say that, but I think he is. Given the circumstances of how this society works against us. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And once again, happy Mother's Day. But Mother's Day is every day. Thank you. Peace.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.